1968, Saigon, night. Explosions. The American embassy is under attack. Television brings the war right into Americans' living rooms. The war lasted nearly 20 years, from 1955 to 1975, and claimed millions of lives.
After World War II, Ho Chi Minh declared Vietnam's independence from France in 1945. France fought to reclaim its colony, starting the First Indochina War. In 1954, French forces were defeated at Dien Bien Phu. The Geneva Accords divided Vietnam at the 17th parallel. North Vietnam, communist; South Vietnam, anti-communist. National elections were planned, but never held. The Cold War had reached Southeast Asia.
In South Vietnam, Ngo Dinh Diem ruled with U.S. support but faced growing unrest. President John F. Kennedy increased military advisors to over 16,000. In 1964, after the Gulf of Tonkin incident, Congress gave Lyndon B. Johnson broad authority to escalate the war. America moved from advisors to combat.
In 1965, U.S. Marines landed in Da Nang. Operation Rolling Thunder began, massive bombing of North Vietnam. At its peak, more than 540,000 U.S. troops were deployed. The U.S. used helicopters, napalm, and Agent Orange. The enemy used tunnels, ambushes, and the Ho Chi Minh Trail. There was no clear front line. The war became a brutal war of attrition. On January 30, 1968, Communist forces launched surprise attacks across South Vietnam during the Tet holiday. Over 100 cities were hit, including Saigon. Militarily, the U.S. regained control. Politically, the damage was severe. Americans realized the war was far from over. Public support collapsed. President Johnson chose not to run for re-election.
As casualties rose, ultimately reaching 58,220 American deaths, protests spread across the U.S. The My Lai massacre shocked the public. College campuses erupted in demonstrations. The war became known as the First Television War. America was deeply divided.
President Richard Nixon introduced Vietnamization, gradually withdrawing U.S. troops while strengthening South Vietnam's army. At the same time, the war expanded into Cambodia and Laos. In 1973, the Paris Peace Accords were signed. American troops left Vietnam, but the fighting continued. Without U.S. military support, South Vietnam collapsed. On April 30, 1975, North Vietnamese forces captured Saigon. Helicopters evacuated the last Americans from the embassy rooftop. Vietnam was unified under communist rule. "58,220 Americans killed, 2 to 3 million Vietnamese dead, millions displaced. The war cost over $150 billion. It reshaped U.S. politics and foreign policy, leading to the War Powers Act and long-lasting skepticism toward military intervention. The United States did not lose every battle, but it lost the war, and the lessons of Vietnam still shape global politics today.